Hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? Feel like finally getting the hang of this setup. Hey, Curse Blessing. Good morning? Good evening for you? Must be late for you, right? It is 3 p.m. in the afternoon for me on Sunday. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Phew. Great. Got my little controller working. 5 a.m.? Oh my goodness. 5 a.m. Wow. Thank you for stopping by. I guess my later times are better for you then, aren't they? Well, thank you for stopping by even though it's so early for you. Or is this when you normally wake up? Can you let me know how the sound is? I know we had some problem with clickiness last time, but I think I've set it up the right way today. And I think I've got the game audio all right. So should be good to go. Should be no major errors like the last stream. Had some technical difficulties. It's fine. Good. Okay. I remember where we left off. It's been a little while. We basically just woke up again. So Red Riding Hood, we wanted to get to know him better. We being Arisu. He called us a slut for what, getting wet. Oh, yeah, my my mod is holding back that, but it's okay. The game said it. It's fine. Yeah, we got wet because he like pushed us into the water. I can't really remember what happened there. It was some silliness, and they fell into the water, and he got really upset. And apparently we passed out in the living room. I do not remember this. It has been a while. So I wonder how much longer we have of his route. Forcing my fuzzy brain to search my memories, I realized I could only recall sitting in front of the fireplace and nothing beyond. Did you carry me here? He's already upset. Oh, I like that. Blushy face. How? How did he... I mean, a strong young man could carry me to the room. Your voice is cracking. Oh, he looks so upset. He mimed the action with his hands. Looks like he's describing a bridal carry. That, this, something in Japanese is called like Ohime-sama Dako, I think. So like Ohime, princess carry. Is bridal carry something people say in English? I mean, I feel like I can visualize it, but I don't know that we say that a lot. You physically carried me even though it made you uncomfortable? Oh, what a heartthrob. Thanks. That means a lot. As I smiled, his face burned bright red. Dang it! Red bridal carry me and I don't remember it? I'm gonna regret this for the rest of my life. I still feel a little flushed. Oh, dampen your washcloth. Yes, please. I actually said that before she said that. Toss me the towel. You can't come close enough to you to just take the towel. You want me to throw it at you? You just can't bear to go near me, is that it? He stiffened. With this fever draining my energy, I really wasn't up to the task, so I sought a compromise. How about this? I'll face the other way while you come and grab it from me. Would that work for you? Oh, this is too much. He's supposed to be a detective? I can't remember. Detective or policeman, whatever he is. He works for the law. You should be able to handle interacting with a young woman. With his consent granted, I set the washcloth on my pillow and turned my body away from it. There, in the silence, I heard him swallow hard. Then, slowly but surely, I heard him approach. Oh my god, dude. Calm down. You sound like a total pervert. Okay, whatever. We got right into it today, didn't we? He shouted in triumph. Cool. Congrats. I prodded him from under the covers and turned back in his direction. He had taken, or should I say snatched, the washcloth from me and plunged it into a pail of cold water. He must have done this for me countless times while I was sleeping, and I'll bet it took all of his courage, too. The thought made me so happy I couldn't help but grin ear to ear. Oh hey, where'd this flower come from? That was when I noticed the pretty red flower sitting in a vase on my bedside table. Looked a bit like a rose, except softer and less intimidating. Are roses intimidating? This is a carnation, isn't it? It's so cute. Did you put this here for me? He must have purchased it from the flower shop. What if he took it from our garden? We have a big garden. His thoughtfulness warmed my heart. Thank you. But I stopped him. I really appreciate it. He pulled his hood low over his eyes, probably to hide his embarrassment. Hee hee. It's been a while since I last caught a cold. Okay, so he actually shoved us into the lake. Shoved Eureka into the lake. I don't know why I always say us. I'm projecting onto the main character. It's not your fault. No, it is. If anything, it was my fault for screwing around with you. I'm sorry. And for the record, you don't have to stand on ceremony with me. Just speak your mind. It is his fault. It really is. We're living under the same roof, aren't we? We're comrades, if only for the short term. Yeah. He abruptly closed his eyes. Yeah, I gathered as much. You prefer to go it alone? Comrade Red? Yeah, oh, I thought Comrade Red. Comrade Hood. Like you're doing right now? Oh my god. If you don't turn away, I'm gonna throw it at you. I immediately turned away. Oh dear. Once again, Red slowly approached me, breathing heavily. If anyone saw us right now, they'd probably think he was about to have his way with me or something. I waited until he was really close, then flipped onto my back. Yeah! As he screamed, he dropped the washcloth directly onto my face. Oh, that feels nice, actually. The cloth felt cool and refreshing against my flushed skin. Somehow this game manages as nothing happened with still being exhausted. Yeah, I know, right? We were barely doing anything. He got a washcloth wet for her. Beside me, Red clapped both hands over his face and curled into the fetal position. It's not nice to scream at a helpless little girl. I didn't even touch you. Like, the whole thing is he's here to protect us from the big bad wolf, right? Is that what they're calling him? Or the wolf? Anyway, the one that's sending us harassing notes and maybe stole the house key. But yet, this is what we're focusing on. Mere eye contact with you is enough to trigger my fight or flight response. That is... Fight or flight response? Seriously? I rolled my eyes. Glancing around awkwardly, Red began to fish for a change of subject. Hmm? Ah, rice porridge. Okayu. You did? Thank you. This was so unexpected, I perked right up. We didn't get any of his canned spam. That's his special supply. Oh, I was your first time? I'm honored. I like how Eureka just totally leans into it. She knows what she's doing. He echoed my words suggestively, but I merely responded with a smile. What's the matter? So where's the porridge? He hesitated. Then, reluctantly, he fetched the pot of porridge from the table and lifted the lid to show me. Oh, so it could have been spam. Wow, it all looks and smells so unique. Normally porridge was meant to be white in color, but this one had turned a dingy brown. Ooh. No, don't. I want to try it. I'm so hungry, I'm dying. Now how do I eat this? I had no strength left in my body. How was I supposed to get up and go to the dining room? Hey, Red? Could you feed it to me? You know, the say ah thing where the healthy person feeds the weaker person. It's a pretty common trope, I feel like. Yeah, come on. I close my eyes and open my mouth. In public. We're not in public. It's not safe. Oh, Jesus. I opened my eyes to find Red peeking out from behind the door, blushing beet red. Mouth to mouth. Yes. Well, how else am I supposed to eat? Feed it to me like a bird. Oh yeah? Is that how you want to play this? Well, two can play at that game. I'm so dizzy all of a sudden. I think my cold is getting worse. I like how they have it sprayed all the way on the side. It's really funny. I'm not lying, you meanie. Can you please just feed me? If getting sicker won't work, then crying won't work, then all that's left is to beg. Once again I close my eyes and open my mouth. But no matter how long I waited, no porridge came. I opened one eye to find him bent over me, leaning his upper body as far back as possible as he pointed a spoonful of porridge at me. I took that opportunity to seize him by the wrist and steer the spoon into my mouth. It's like he's feeding a wild animal or something. Oh, the kangaroo came over and ate the food right out of my hand. You can do that here in Australia. You can feed kangaroos at wildlife parks and things. It's good. I swallowed the ice cold porridge and licked my lips. Don't think too hard. He's doing some extreme acrobatics to stay away from her. You should try a bite. Oh, your nose is bleeding again. A stream of blood trickled down his face. Let me get your tissue. Here, use this. What? Just chill out. I decided not to ask what he was envisioning. Meanwhile, blood gushed from his nose. I'd learned one thing from this. Red's mind was as perverted as a 12-year-old boy's, or maybe worse. He held the pot away from himself to avoid contaminating the food. Meanwhile, a red river continued to flow down his handsome face. I'll take the porridge. In the meantime, stare at the ceiling until your nose stops bleeding. Unable to bear another second, I decided to take control of the situation. Hello, Armadette! Yeah, Yurika's very aware of what's going on here. She knows all the tropes. He handed me the pot of porridge, clutched his nose, and tilted his head back. Is that helping? I gave him a moment to calm down before I spoke. You really can't handle being around girls, huh? Yeah. Wow, well, get out then. You sure about that? I smirked playfully. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's super handsome when it comes to otome game options. I smiled and nodded. Will you stay with me? Aw, you're embarrassed, hehe. Looking back, was he actually as embarrassed as I thought he was? Or was I just delirious from my fever? Guess we're skipping forward then. Yep. The next morning, I woke up and headed off to cook breakfast and prepare our lunches for the day, same as always. Wait, hold on. Hold on. How do we... Wait. How do we... I want to see his outfit. He's got a new outfit. That's cute. How do I get rid of the... Is this space bar? I don't think it is. Nope, I'm fine. How do we get rid of the options? What are the controls? Toggle options. Toggle display mode F8? Oops. Oh, he's gone. The X on the lower. Oh, yeah. Is it? Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm ready for next time he appears so we can look at his cool outfit. I was in the kitchen humming while I peeled potatoes. Today I was planning on to make vichyssoise, a thick soup traditionally served cold. Vichyssoise? Is that what it's called? Just as I was debating whether to make gratin for our lunches. That seems like a lot of work. Gratin for lunch. Cough. Okay. Let's check it out. Oh yeah. That's cool. Why did he change his outfit? Oh, what's going on with his hand here though? Oh. Yeah, I like the shirt. Very nice. It's no big deal. No cold on earth lasts just one day. Wise words, Red. But I need to make the lunches and I need to cook for you. No, you don't, girl. He doesn't deserve it. Eat your canned spam. Okay, I mean, that's fair. Is it worth sacrificing your health to make lunch for everyone? Yes, I want to do the most I can. No, I'll stop. I'm not even waiting. No, it's not worth it. I put down the half-peeled potato and exhaled. Yeah, curse blessing, you know what's up. No, it's not worth it. I wasn't disappointed or anything, just short of breath. It was proof the sickness was still taking its toll on my body. You're right, I should call out sick today. Call in sick today? You guys say call out sick today? At least he's taking charge. But I can handle it. I don't have a fever anymore. He shooed me away. I could eat. You going to cook for me? Yay! Okay. Sorry, I was drinking my coffee. I got this cold brew coffee today when I was out earlier, and it's in a glass flask that looks like, you know, what you would put in a flask, like alcohol. Looks a bit sus, but it's good. Resisting the urge to hug him, I backed up a few steps as Red picked up my half-peeled potato and continued on in my stead. Oh, Red, that's not safe. You'll have to keep your thumb above the blade. Ah, jeez. He pointed the knife at me, and I raised both hands in surrender. Don't wave knives around in the kitchen. The breakfast menu had changed from vichyssoise to baked potatoes and canned meat. Ah, tasty. It's really good. This canned stuff isn't half bad. In front of me was a tin of meat and a plate of potatoes. Ooh, this corned beef goes great on top of the potatoes. I should try to cook something with this sometime. As I learned from yesterday's porridge, the canned meat was heavily seasoned, which made it the perfect match for something plain and starchy. As usual, Red ate his meal in silence. I forget if I asked you before, but did you eat this stuff every day usually? This is all he eats. And you don't get bored of it? Oh, he eats at restaurants. Yeah, what do you order? Hamburgers. Ooh, that sounds good. So which is your favorite of the two? Mackerel or corned beef? The two things you eat. Corned beef, okay. I see, you must be a real carnivore then. Yeah, I know, I do it on purpose. I smiled brightly. He sighed reluctantly. Gotcha. In that case, I should cook us more meat sometime. What else do you like to eat? What? Ketchup. After breakfast, I sat down on my bed and fawned over the carnation Red had bought for me. Hee hee! Of course, I love it! He briskly prepared my medicine as well as a glass of water. I swallowed the medicine and flopped down on my side, but I'm not sleepy. Could you tell me a story or something? Yeah, I know that. You're my friend. Ouch. Okay then, you're my guardian, and I don't mean parental figure. I know, right? I shot him a smug grin. Hee hee! Are you afraid of catching my cold? Oh, somebody's a badass. She's so spicy. I give him a round of applause. He's got a hardy body. You're a man after all. Oh, where's this combo going? Yeah, you're a man. I guess I never really thought about it. I made sure to emphasize his masculinity. Come to think of it, you must be bored sitting around while I'm sleeping. Feel free to come and go as you please. I thought the whole point is that he's protecting her 24/7. Okay, police officer, not a detective. I know that, but you are technically my roommate, at least for now. Are you? Okay, there we go. Of course not. Cops are the good guys, right? Wow. Besides, I trust you. I wonder if Eureka slash Arisu it has the same kind of sassy personality in other routes, because that would be pretty fun. Is that against the rules? Yeah, now that you mention it, I mean, he hasn't like shown us his ID or something. I don't, yeah, we're just taking his word that he is the police. He could have just rocked up and been like, hey, I'm police, let me in. And with that, is someone would have taken advantage of me by now? Is that it? Are all women pure-hearted damsels who exist to be preyed upon? Whoa, 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 whoa. Undeniably superior strength. Dude. Oh, I don't like where this conversation is going. Jeez. Right, if you pinned me down, I wouldn't stand a chance of fighting you off. Yeah, let's beat him up after school. Gang up on him after class. For the record, though, some of us want to be preyed upon. What? Come on, Eureka. I smiled affably. He screamed at me, his face as red as a tomato. Don't forget, some girls are hunters too. Mr. Big Bad Wolf doesn't stand a chance. Bang bang. I took aim with an imaginary hunting rifle and fired. He clutched at his chest with both hands. Wait, what? And that was the moment Red passed out on the floor. This is the guy saying men are undeniably stronger than women. After we met at the lake and he acknowledged me as a comrade, we would play together every day. For those of you who maybe are tuning in for the first time today, this is a flashback which we've established is probably, though not explicitly, a flashback from Red's point of view. I don't think they've revealed that, but it seems pretty clear. One day, he invited me over to his house. When we arrived, his grandmother was there to greet us. As soon as she saw me, she reached out with a wizened hand and stroked my hair. No one had ever touched me that way before, so on instinct I swatted her hand away. Oh. Out of nowhere, he leapt at me. We got into a vicious scuffle, pulling at each other's hair and clawing at each other's faces. Our fight ended the same way it started, with grandmother's hands. We pinched each other's cheeks, she swatted us both over the head, and so the fight ended in a draw. Pouting, he thrust out his hand. Once I reluctantly apologized, grandmother seized my hand and pressed it against his in a forced handshake. She smiled brightly. Cake and grape juice, yay. I feel like having grape juice with cake would make the cake really sweet, or make the sourness of the grape juice more pronounced. One or the other. From the way she smiled, you never guessed the two of us were bickering just moments ago. Unlike me, he was always so emotionally expressive. I envied that about him, and yet, at the same time, part of me despised it. What kind of cake? It was a bit plain to be considered cake by most standards, but I wasn't that familiar with cake to begin with, and it was my first time eating one that wasn't store-bought. I savored every bite, cherishing it while I still had it. Excuse me. Grandmother seemed to realize this because she told me, Real big. From then on, grandmother made us dozens of cakes. Oh, the Riding Hood. He was always wearing a cloak of some kind, and truth be told, it was really badass. Apparently his grandmother could do just about anything, from baking to sewing. He loved her so much he would brag about her constantly. And in due time, I grew attached to her as well. That's sweet. One day I was playing at his house per usual when his grandmother waved me over. They both had big grins on their faces. Before I could question it, however, a bundle of fabric fell over my head. A hood! My vision was obscured by pure scarlet and I began to panic. And then she died. Yep, I mean, probably that's where this is going. We all know the story. Wait, yeah, the wolf ate her. But then the hunter kills the wolf and cuts her out of its stomach, I think? All of a sudden I could see again. What exactly looked good on me I wasn't sure, but I could tell there was something on my head. It's a bit uncomfortable, but at the same time really warm. And then grandmother clued me in on the mystery. Matching hoods. He clapped me on the back. She smiled gently. Suddenly, tears sprang to my eyes. Same hat. Yep, same hood. Wanting to hide my flushed face, I grabbed the hem of my new hood and pulled it low over my eyes. Then I choked out in a tiny whisper, "Me." From then on, that riding hood became my prized possession. Aww, cute. Once upon a time, there lived a lonesome boy and his sole comrade. One day, his comrade's grandmother sewed him a riding hood made from fine red velvet. The riding hood suited him well, and from that day forward, everyone referred to him as Little Red Riding Hood. There you go. Now we know. I awoke to find the room ever so faintly lit. The sky outside my window was a pale orange hue, nearly dawn. Evidently a good 12 hours had passed. When Red passed out, I used all my strength to drag him into bed. After that, I was so wiped that I fell asleep almost instantly. Why did he pass out, you ask? Because he caught my cold. Oh, I thought it was because she mimicked shooting him. Now that I was awake, I realized Red had latched onto me, locking me into place. In essence, he's using me as a hug pillow. Oh dear. I pressed a hand to his forehead, then to my own, comparing our temperatures. Want to get full CG? Da-na. Not like I can tell the difference. Granted, I was feeling a lot better, but that didn't necessarily mean I was out of the woods just yet. Plus, now my temperature was rising for a different reason entirely. I sighed, conflicted. I had no idea how I was going to extricate myself from this situation. I could feel his steady breathing tickling the top of my head. Thankfully, the color had returned to his complexion, so perhaps he was already on the road to recovery. Knowing him, the second he wakes up, he'll probably scream his head off. And by probably, I mean definitely. Yeah, definitely. Then he'll shove me off the bed, and I'll probably bash my head on the side table. Yep, I can see exactly how this will play out. And then I'll get majorly injured, and I am not getting flustered, excuse me. Will you wake him? No, I'll let him wake up naturally. Yes, I'll prepare myself for the worst. Screw that, it's cuddle time! Anyone in the chat want to weigh in on this one? Cuddle time? Yeah, I'm leaning towards screw that, it's cuddle time. I mean, either way, I think it's bad. Okay, 2 votes for cuddle, let's do it. Yeah! Is that what you say when it's cuddle time? Yeah! I took advantage of this opportunity to wrap my arms around him. Aw, she was pretty happy. How else am I gonna get away with this? Besides, you're just going to shove me on the floor regardless. If I have to suffer, so do you. Sorry, Red. I smiled to myself as I apologized internally. Aw. Whoa. What's going on? He groaned in his sleep. A single tear rolled down his cheek. I reached out and wiped the tear away with my index finger, then pressed my forehead to his. I forgive you. Just then. All of a sudden, I heard a tiny tinkle of bells outside my window. What's that jingling? First I thought maybe it was a cat or something, but then I remembered. The night we discovered the keys had been stolen, Red set up an intruder alarm. One that involved a series of small bells. Red, wake up! Red! I shook him vigorously by the shoulders. Red! I could see a dark shadow contrasted against the brilliant orange sky, but I knew it was no mere shadow. It was a big bad wolf with big pointy ears. It was? Did we see it? In response to my scream, the woven shadow darted away. Finally roused by my voice, Red slowly lifted his heavy lids. Gradually, his eyes grew wider and wider until... Now... How do you respond? Karate chop him, calm him down. I'm definitely going for the karate chop option here. I have been wanting to chop for ages. Yeah! I karate chopped him with all my might. To no avail. If anything, it seemed to only make things worse. Looking back, I must not have been thinking clearly at the time. Well, whatever, he deserved to be hit. I hastily attempted to calm him down. Relax, okay? Relax. Okay, we have more pressing things right now. Like the big bad wolf at the window. I mean, this is my bedroom, so... Here's a tissue, just in case. She's ready. A preemptive decision in the event of another nosebleed. Why are we canoodling? Canoodling! Well, you see. Good morning, Red. Great news, I'm pregnant. Canoodling is a really good word, I love it. I had a feeling you would take this in that direction. Ed? Why did you get all stiff? Right on cue, a torrential nosebleed gushed forth. Okay, I thought we were going to talk about something else. At this point, I was neither frightened nor turned on. My only option was to wait until we recovered. How about let him know that you saw the big bad wolf 2 seconds ago? After a few minutes of gazing into each other's eyes with our arms around each other, feeling calmer now? I guess there's no pressing need to deal with this intruder then. He nodded. You passed out from a high fever. I'm guessing you caught my cold after all. And obviously I couldn't just leave you there on the floor, so I got you into bed, and then I sort of passed out myself. He nodded a second time. He keeps staring at me like he's begging for me to explain how he ended up like this. Let me guess, you're confused as to why we're cuddling? This time he nodded vigorously. Evidently he hadn't even been conscious of it. Well, Red, that's because you refused to let me go. As soon as it finally clicked in his brain, Red leapt out of bed at full speed. Phew. Freed from his embrace, I sat up and adjusted my clothes. I glanced over at Red to find him opening and closing his fists, almost like he was testing something. Red? When I called out to him, he snapped back to reality. In an instant, his face flushed beet red. At this point, I was starting to get a bad case of secondhand embarrassment, so I pointedly averted my gaze. After a long and downright suffocating moment of silence, Red finally spoke. Yes? You're right, Chris Bus. He's like, do I have to you know, step in and do my duty as the male partner in this relationship. What? Will you hold him accountable for this? Yes, no. Yeah. I say yes. Yes. I looked at him in surprise and tilted my head curiously. Do you want it to be? Should I take this to mean you'll marry me? He swallowed hard. Hee I'm just kidding. What about the wolf? Honestly, it's no big deal. It just sort of happened, that's all. Yeah, if anything, I'm the one who gave you my cold, and I'm the one who dragged you into my bed. You did nothing wrong, except for pushing her into the water in the first place. So I'm not gonna hold you accountable for it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot! Red! I think the culprit was here. Yeah, it was the wolf. At this, his expression shifted instantly. Yeah, why didn't we do that from the beginning? There, just outside the window. He opened the window and looked around. Well, I mean, he's definitely gone by now. Definitely long gone. What if something happens to me while you're gone? Understood. 4-foot radius. Almost a COVID radius, isn't it? Is it 6 feet? Here it's 1.5 meters. The COVID radius. Any luck? He crouched down, picks up a piece of broken string, and held it up for me to see. Any chance it was a wild animal? Correct. Granted, they ran off almost immediately, but this silhouette had very distinctive pointy ears. So is this proof that the culprit was here? I see. Now that I think about it, this culprit doesn't seem very smart. Not only did they get caught in your trap, but they let their marks see them too. Not as long as I've got you with me. Oh no. I beamed at him, and he tugged his hood low as if to hide his face. Do you think they noticed the trap? Mm-hmm. How does he know that? Is it, maybe it's a trap. No, really, I think she probably could have told him a good 10 minutes earlier and they might have had a chance. But at this point, yeah. Wouldn't blame himself there. Yeah, don't blame yourself. You did the best you could. Tripping over your tongue. Okay. Back inside we go. Tick tock, tick tock. Red and I sat on the sofa in silence, each of us lost in thought. My mind kept returning to the contents of the blackmail letter and replaying the image of the pointy-eared shadow in the window. Then I realized Red had turned his attention to me. Huh? Alright, that's nice of you to consider, Red. No, I'm fine on both counts. Thanks for worrying about me, though. What about you? How are you holding up? You sure? I don't know. To avoid causing me concern? There's a few possible reasons. Really? Not even little white ones? You've caught my cold now, haven't you? Is he okay? You could say the same of me. Personally, I'd say we're even. I want her to go back to school so we can say wolf again. He was great. He smiled slightly. Hey, you smiled! This might be the first time I've ever seen you smile. He pulled his hood down low. That was when it hit me. Say, do you wear that riding hood specifically so you don't have to make eye contact with anyone? Matters a lot, actually. I'm trying to get to know you, after all. There's so much about you I've yet to understand. You want to get to know me too, don't you? Does he? Is that what you've been thinking about all this time? Really? Hee hee. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Red, but your reaction suggests otherwise. Oh god, he secretly did too? Red tilted his head at me inquisitively as I clapped my head to my forehead in exasperation. I am too exasperated by all these conversations. But just then... oh, thought it was the wolf. The phone began to ring. Who could it be? Certainly not your family, since they never call you. Oh, thank you. I'd appreciate it. Was it a wrong number? They're staking out the place. That's what they do, right? They call to see if you're home. Ha. Relieved, I let out a long breath and collapsed back against the sofa. Looks like the wolf has finally started to take action, huh? Why are they doing this to me? Red fell silent after that. Here in this oppressive silence, we were getting nowhere fast, so I decided to change the subject. I'm starving. I think I'm gonna go cook something. How about you? Got an appetite? For spam. Alright then, seeing as you're under the weather, I'll cook you up something nice. It'd be good to put some meat in your mouth system. I changed my wording at the last minute to prevent any further blood loss. It hurts. I can't breathe. Oh. The next thing I know, I'm drowning in a watery abyss. As I choke, my air escapes my lips in big bubbles that rise to the surface. All I can see is blue, and the deeper I sink, the darker it gets. I can't breathe. I feel my limbs desperately, but to no avail. My leaden body refuses to cooperate, and the light grows ever more distant. If only I were a mermaid, this might not be so frightening. But alas, I am no mermaid. Everything's getting dark. Am I going to sink to the bottom? That was a big shift in things. Somebody, please, help me. Help me. Okay, it's a dream. I woke with a scream. The first thing I saw was my old familiar ceiling. Oh, hi, Red. No, just a nightmare. Well, I don't really remember what it was about, but I do remember feeling like I couldn't breathe. Sure. Yeah, maybe. That was when I noticed a drop of sweat rolling down his forehead. You're sweating pretty hard. He wiped his brow with the back of his hand. Here, use this. I opened a drawer, took out a handkerchief, and offered it to him. Oh, right, you don't want to touch me. Okay, how do we solve this? I'll put it down, and then you can pick it up. Before I could think of a way to get the handkerchief to him without touching him directly... Oh, he's fine now. He gingerly took it from my hand. Whoa. They did it. The next day... Wow, that was a big cut. Okay. Ah, this sucks. I was back at school after having stayed home sick yesterday, but when lunchtime rolled around, Wolf was nowhere to be found. Darn it! Wolf! No, not you! Yeah. Get out of here, where's Wolf? No, come on! I pouted. I used to eat alone all the time, but all that it changed once I met Wolf. Huntsman again, for those that may not have caught up on the past episodes of the stream or haven't joined us before, is actually her brother. He's a jerk. Keep being mean to me and I'll give you my germs. I spread my arms out in a hugging gesture only for Mr. Hunter to push my face away. No, I'm kidding. Not that I care if you get sick. I just feel bad if it's spread around the school. Ouch. I knocked his hand away and turned away in a huff. Grr. I scowled at him. You're a jerk. Because otherwise you'll get emotionally invested? His eyes narrowed slightly. Meanwhile, I chuckled to myself and began to pack away our empty lunch boxes. Yeah, and she cooks them lunch every day. After school, I met up with Red near the forest entrance, and together we headed home. According to him, the shopping district was unsafe. Thus, we were forced to take a detour around it. Apparently, maybe there's a bug going around. Well, if he calls out sick tomorrow, I'd like to go check on him after school. Would that be okay? Wolf! Go see Wolf. I'm pretty sure he lives. Red fixed me with a dubious look. Gasp. Been making lunches for a male? Yeah. For some reason, I thought I heard his tone deflate slightly. Yeah, Arisu's brother doesn't care about her, but he's happy to eat the food that she makes for him, I guess, because he's lazy. I stopped short. He followed suit. I walked directly in front of him, staring into his eyes, and asked, "You're dying to know more, aren't you?" He didn't hesitate even a fraction of a second. This wasn't enough to discourage me, of course. The other day he said to me, "Keep acting like you're a sweet little lamb and some wolf's gonna come along and gobble you up." Ooh. Bullseye. Panic clicked across Red's expression. Yes? Make up your mind already. He turned away, blushing. The truth couldn't have been more obvious if he tried, so I decided to press further. Let me ask you this. Do you believe platonic friendship is possible between a man and a woman? I folded my hands behind my back and gently held his gaze. Me, personally, I believe it is. I mean, sure, opposites attract, especially when it comes to the opposite sex. But that attraction doesn't have to be romantic, or so I like to believe anyway. The point is, my friend and I simply do not see each other that way. And you know why that is? Because I'm in love with someone else. He's not a very good actor, is he? Yep. What makes you say that? I stared at him wide-eyed. I hadn't expected him to argue with me about this. Oh, thank you. A charming young lady. Sorry, could you repeat that for me? Without cracking a smile, I held my index finger aloft in a "one more time" gesture. No, not that part. Could you start closer from the beginning? From "you're a charming" or so? He fell silent, probably from embarrassment. Poor guy. Yep, now we're a charming young lady. Thanks, Red. To spare him any further shame, I decided to change the subject a tiny bit. You want to know who it is I'm in love with? Yes. With this, I had evidently exceeded his patience. That's a shame. I sure wanted to tell you. Visibly flustered, Red took off once more. Red, wait for me! I hastily hurried after him. Wow, your walk cycle looks so robotic. Your walk cycle. Mine? You think? Just outside the house, Red finally came to a stop. His nervous tension was gone. In its place, a hard stare. Red? Uh-oh. He extended a hand to silence me, then gestured to me in a way that suggested someone was in the house. I nodded, then fell perfectly still. Understood. Be careful, okay? On a signal, the two of us went our separate ways. Red headed into the mansion, carefully concealing his presence as he maintained constant surveillance of his surroundings. As for me, I stopped just outside the gate and waited there, as per his instructions. This would soon prove to be the longest 5 minutes of my life. Each passing second felt like an eternity. I didn't have a watch on me, so instead I counted to 300 in my head. I couldn't very well see into the house from here, so I just stared at the door until Red stepped outside alone. He walked up to me, shaking his head sadly. Maybe we just missed them? Uh-oh, someone broke in. Shouldn't you go after them? Psh, like that matters. Alright, alright. I flinched as he shouted at me. It's fine. He struck me as panicked somehow. Much as I wanted to reach out and soothe him, I knew it would only fluster him all the more, so I hastily suppressed the urge. I really do appreciate all your concern. Will you stay with me then? Hey, this organ music is rad. I like it. This is just awful. I stared blankly at the wreckage before me. The flower vases and decorations in the entryway had all been knocked over, the cupboards flung open and their contents strewn all over the floor. Why? What did the flowers ever do to you? I could hear the sympathy in his voice. Sorry, I'm fine. I smiled to alleviate his concern, then bent down and scooped up a fallen flower. Poor thing. Just then, I remembered the carnation sitting on my bedside table and took off running up the stairs. I mean, shouldn't she be more worried that they, like, stole important things or, you know, broke something like, you know, a precious memento that can't be replaced? Not that I don't care about flowers. My room was a complete disaster. My favorite bedsheets and curtains were ripped to shreds and pillow stuffing covered the floor. I looked to the bedside table to find that the flower vase was gone. At that point, I just wanted to cry my eyes out. Silently, I walked into the room and scooped the carnation out of the debris. Oh, she's got interesting priorities. I felt a sharp pain in the tip of my finger and realized a bead of carnation red blood had formed there. Red grabbed me by the arm and dragged me down to the kitchen. After I rinsed off my wound, I wrapped my finger in a cloth and clutched it over my chest. I'm fine now, Red. Please, just get this flower and some water. We can still save it. Oh, I'm sorry. This is so silly. Please, just save the flower. I shrank away slightly. Seeing me flinch, Red seemingly snapped to his senses. It's fine. After a long moment of silence, Red muttered under his breath. Okay, well, I mean, that's a little extreme, but it's not worthless. It was a precious gift from you. His blonde lashes fluttered as he averted his gaze. I'm sorry for running off like that, and I'm sorry for scaring you. I shook my head. No, it's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. He still didn't meet my gaze, so I repeated myself. You did nothing wrong. At this, he finally looked up. Thank you for helping me. I took his hand in mine as I spoke. Later, once my wound stopped bleeding, we examined the rest of the house to assess the extent of the damage. Nothing out of place here either. Yeah. Yeah. Red hastily scrawled into his notepad. A relatively small man? A wolf did miss school today. Fingerprints? Really? One of the 7 dwarves broken. As he spoke, Red began to dust a strange white powder on all of the areas the culprit was likely to have touched. Felt like I was in a crime thriller. Afterwards, Red returned to me looking grim. How'd it go? Yes, not a single print. That's a shame. You ever think maybe it's not the same person then? If they're so different. Why would they do this? My voice wavered. But if so, wouldn't they search every room? It's the brother. But nothing was stolen. Warning. A show of force. No, that's okay. Honestly, I'd rather you didn't try to tiptoe around my feelings. Just tell it to me straight. Besides, I have nothing to fear with my knight in shining armor right here to protect me. Do you see any other guys standing around? Oh, come on, don't give me that. You said you'd protect me. I lost my patience and snapped at him. Sono Ihio! That's the spirit? I don't understand why sometimes they leave things in Japanese. Must be because in the Japanese she's like saying it in English. That's all I can think of. Sono Ihio. I shot him the finger guns! There it is! First finger guns of the day. Phew, that's the last of it. Glad we could get the place all cleaned up. Oh, thanks so much for stopping by, Armadette. Have a good rest of your day / night. Red? Red stood, broom and dustpan in hand, staring out the window. Was he lost in thought? I slowly snuck up behind him and reached out to touch him. But before I made contact, Red jumped away in surprise. Haha, scared you, huh? Trying to touch you, obviously. I almost got you, too. I winked. Predictably, this set his cheeks aflame. Shouldn't be used to it? Shouldn't you be used to it by now? Me and my antics, silly. And I ignored you because it was rude. I pouted my lips. Don't apologize. You're just gonna make me feel worse. This time, I put my face in my hands and sobbed. You're such a jerk. I just want us to be friends, that's all. Ooh. Just kidding. I grinned at him, tilting my head cutely. Incorrigible little liar. Wow. Hey, I admit the crying was fake, but everything I said was the honest truth. The fight or flight comment did hurt my feelings, and I do want to be friends. I genuinely want to be close to you. Yeah, if he doesn't want you in his personal space, just leave it. It's not very nice to push boundaries. Both physically and emotionally. Goodness. I aimed a finger gun and fired a shot at his heart. Bang! As I smirked up at him, he averted his eyes and fell silent. So she's a player? A bit of one. Anyway, you were thinking about the wolf, am I right? Tell me, what's on your mind? Did you learn something new about them? His voice faltered. Just then, our conversation was interrupted by an ear-splitting crash. What the? I recognized it immediately as the sound of breaking glass. Which glass, you asked? The window pointing directly behind Red. The next thing I knew, Red had pulled me into an embrace. As I froze in surprise, he scooped me up into his arms and carried me to the relative safety of the bed. Whoa. It was all so sudden. My heart was thumping out of control. Red looked over at the window. The answer was obvious, of course. It had to be the wolf. Oh, no, I'm fine. Once he made sure that I was unharmed, Red heaved a sigh of relief. Almost like he didn't even realize he embraced and carried me just now. What about you? Are you hurt at all? Go find the person! Don't just stand there. At last, I found the mental composure to worry about something other than my own safety. Truth be told, I cared way more about his well-being than my own. Why? Why? What has he done for you? Just been a jerk. Relief was written all over his face. Aw, Red. My heart skipped a beat. Embarrassed, I stared down at the floor. Grief, anger, an uneven mix of emotions swirled in my chest. Now they've really crossed the line. As my gaze wandered over the remains of the window, I noticed a baseball lying on the floor. Where did that come from? I stooped and picked it up. Yeah, maybe they threw it through the window. Doesn't take a detective to figure that out. Sure enough, there was a sheet of paper affixed to it. I would have preferred a carrier pigeon. Haha. Not funny. My lighthearted joke went unheard as Red unfolded and began to read the letter. His expression was so deadly serious I didn't feel comfortable breaking the silence. But before he was done reading, or perhaps partway through, Red began to crumple the letter into a ball. What did it say? Please, just tell me. At my request, he reluctantly dropped the wad of paper into my palm. My heart thumping in my chest, I unfolded it and began to read. Oh, okay. You betrayed me. I gave you a chance, but it looks like you still don't understand what it is you've done. If you refuse to admit your crime, then I'll kill someone you care about. And then I'll drown you in the lake. No crime goes unpunished. Repent your sins and hell! I repeat, no crime goes unpunished! It was without a doubt another blackmail letter. Not like the first, however, it was dripping with malicious intent. Whoever they were demanding justice. I had anticipated something like this, of course, but that didn't make it any easier to swallow. No crime goes unpunished, I murmured aloud without realizing. Oh, I looked up to find Red staring at me, his hand outstretched in my direction. He awkwardly retracted his hand. He must have wanted to console me. Much as I was tempted to take his hand or give him a hug, I knew I couldn't. I hung my head, pursing my lips tightly together. Oh, so angsty. Oh dear. This is the best he can do. Look at that face. Wow. I still really like his outfit. It kind of reminds me of like a bullfighter's outfit. The vest part. She's got a real corset going on there. Well, he's trying, right? Matador! Yes, thanks, Anchor's blessing. A matador. Doesn't it kind of look like a matador jacket? The pattern does. Just then, I felt the bed shift. Startled, I looked up to find Red sitting next to me, his face a deep scarlet. Then he put his hand on mine. Oh, if he wasn't such a jerk, this would be cute. Oh, yeah, the bottom half definitely says more Arabian Nights with the, like, sashes to me. It's a combo. A combo deal. He stared pointedly at the broken glass as he spoke. It must have taken tremendous courage to overcome his discomfort. Thank you. His kindness made my heart ache. Together we cleaned up the glass, shards of glass, then returned to the living room. Yeah, maybe so. Not that I had much of a choice now that my bedroom window is broken. Just use one of the million other rooms. You don't have to... Okay, I was gonna say, there are a lot of rooms. There are other bedrooms in the house, of course, but I didn't have keys to them. This is I feel like that's the first time we hear that she doesn't have keys to open the rooms. I guess that explains why, and like, was it the last episode? She didn't show him many rooms of the house? She didn't mention it then. Oh, I don't have keys to all the rooms in my massive house. Yeah, which meant I'd have to break down the door to get in. Not exactly ideal. Why don't you have the keys to your own house? I flopped down onto the sofa. The next thing I knew, a sheet of soft velvet descended over me. What the? Oh yes, remember he has multiple hoods he's wearing. Since you're still convalescing, oh my god. Thank you, you're an angel. You sure? You're always looking out for me. Yeah, if there's one word I had to describe Red Riding Hood, it'd definitely be angel. It's the first thing that comes to mind. Don't just stand there. Come over here and have a seat. I set out to make room for him beside me on the sofa. Don't even bother, Arisu. After a moment of hesitation, he sat down as far away from me as possible. Hee hee. Sure enough, the moment we made eye contact, he pulled his hood down low. You're always wearing that riding hood, aren't you? You must be really attached to it. I didn't realize it was part of his daily wear. I thought it came with the uniform. Where did you buy it? From that one friend you mentioned? Whoa, she must be really talented. And she has an eye for style, too. Aw, he loves her. He loves Grandma. He excitedly balled his hands into fists as he spoke. No, don't apologize. Tell me more. Alright, just when we were having a nice convo. So shut it down. So what? I still want to know. After a long pause, Red reluctantly gave in. Ah, yes. A long time ago.
人と少し違っていた。そのせいで周囲に馴染めず、学校にも行かず、そんな時出会ったのが友人でした。彼は無視し続ける私に対し、しつこく話しかけました。正直、ある日、彼は私を家に招待してくれました。彼はおばあさんと二人で暮らしているようで、おばあさん、彼のおばあさんは怒るととっても怖くて、でもとても優しくて、見ず知らずの
Okay, curse blessing. I'm not saying anything one way or another, but if you think he's the one with the wolf ears, do you think he is the wolf too? Then how would that explain the thing crashing through the window when they were both together? You think there's somebody else harassing them that's not the wolf? I don't know.
遊びに行くようになりました。
I hope it's not the friend wolf because I like him.
よく焼いてく
It
れ
can be the brother. I don't mind if we have another reason to dislike the brother.
話をしてくれたり、
Aww. Made him feel loved. That's so
そんなある
sweet.
日、おばあさんは私に赤い頭巾をプレゼントしてくれました。誰かに物をもらったのは初めてだったので、いつもかぶっているうちにこの姿が当たり前のようになって、いつの間にか
This reality has several wolves. True. Wolves are like a common thing. There doesn't need to be just one wolf in the world. Sounds like these people were both really important to you. He smiled, a faint, wistful smile. Then the next instant, it was gone.
こんな時にでもあなたの
Yeah, I mean, good point. We tried to call them, they didn't care. Your brother just takes the food you make for him, but doesn't even bother asking how things are going. Huh?
あなたの危機だというのに、
They haven't given you the keys to the rooms in the house. Oh, yeah. I smiled sadly.
あなたの家族は無責任です。いくら他にやることがあるからといって
Yeah. Do you disagree with his assessment? No, I don't disagree with his assessment. They're jerks. Particularly the brother. Because I don't have anything to say about the parents since we haven't interacted with them at all. Maybe we did briefly talk to like one of her parents on the phone way early on, but I don't really remember. My lack of response brought him back to his
失礼
senses.
しました。あなたのご家族に他人である私がどうこう言う資格はあり、
Thank you. Thank you for worrying about me, for caring about me, because no one else does.
そんなんでは
Hee hee.
あなたと調子が
Being around you throws me off. How romantic. That's it?
そうだ。
How
あ
so?
なたと目が合うだけで変な
These strange heart palpitations.
ついでに息も苦しくなって、でもどうしてもあなたのことが
Uh
気になって
huh.
つい目で
Tell
追っ
me
てしまって、
more.
さっきの話だって
Mm.
何も話す気なんてなかった。
So what? You don't like talking to me?
いや、
Is she now purposely being dense? So you do like it? Well,
好きって勘違いするなよ。その好きっていうのは
oh, so
面白いから
interesting.
であって、
Wow. Uh huh.
本当の私はこんなんじゃなくて
Normally, I'm stoic and rational and
頭が
smart.
良くて
You're just seeing this bad side of me. Yeah, I know. You're pretty dreamy. That's why being around you makes me so flustered, and talking to you is so much fun.
そうですか。
I don't know why I call him dreamy, but okay. Yep.
私もあなたと一緒
Ooh la la. He smiled dreamily. If he had a tail, I'm sure he'd be wagging it right about now. Hee hee. There's a lot of hee heeing.
なんで笑うんですか。
Oh, nothing. To be fair, I'd be wagging my tail too. I don't understand romance. I don't understand emotions. Especially not hers. How can I get her to notice me? When I arrived home at our little cottage, there was no one there to greet me. It was so dark and quiet that, for a moment, it felt like all that boisterous fun earlier was merely a dream. When I flicked on the lights, I noticed a small amount of money on the table. This was my food money. You see, my mother worked at a flower shop. She worked from morning until night and was rarely ever home. Whenever she did come home, however, she always left me some money for food. The house was always empty. No people, nothing. To me, this was normal. Emptiness was normal. And my heart was empty, too. But recently, things had changed. Lately, I despise going home. Each night, I wished I could skip 12 hours ahead to the next day. I longed to spend my time in the sunshine with my two favorite people. I yearned for that warmth. My dinner at night could never compare to grandmother's home cooking earlier that day. I clutched the Red Riding Hood, her gift to me, in my hands. Here in this empty house, it was my one and only treasure. I'm sorry. Whoa! I'm sorry, Lord. I'm a bad kid. That was extreme. A bit. Whenever my mother was around, she would always tell me, a precious angel, just like what Alice said. But I broke that promise. I disobeyed my mother, left the house, and even befriended a wolf. So it is a wolf. He is a wolf. The friend is a wolf. But not wolf. W-O-O-L-F-E. Not only that, but I received a gift from the wolf's grandmother, and I loved it with all my heart. I knew I was doing something wrong, and yet I just couldn't keep myself away from grandmother's house. One day, I randomly came to a stop outside the flower shop. The flowers on display were radiant and beautiful, as were the smiles of the women admiring them. Just then, I thought of grandmother. It occurred to me that perhaps she'd appreciate a return gift as a thank you for the Red Riding Hood. Unfortunately, I didn't have the money to buy flowers. Your mother works at a flower shop, just go ask her for one. So I decided to go looking for flowers in the forest. Fortunately, I managed to find a few small ones, so I picked them and headed off to grandmother's house. I hung my head in shame. Aww. I held out the flowers I picked in the forest, and sure enough, she looked positively delighted. No. She's gonna. That's why he has so many of them. She made 1,000,000 of red ones. When grandmother praised me, it made me feel like maybe I wasn't such a bad kid after all. On my way home, I passed by the flower shop once again. The flowers there were all much bigger and more beautiful than the ones from the forest. In an instant, I quickly grew ashamed of myself. Perhaps she would have preferred a flower from the shop over some measly forest wildflowers. With the money I had on hand, I could scarcely afford a little flower, much less a big, impressive one. So, what was my solution? Simple. I decided to save up my money. Oh, he's not gonna eat so we could buy a nice flower? That's so sad. I didn't get an allowance, so instead I decided to use my food money as flower money. Naturally, I still needed to eat, so I bought the cheapest canned food I could find and subsisted off of that. Oh no, that's why he eats canned food all the time. Oh. The thought of her smiling face made it easy to ignore my hunger. In the meantime, I continued to pick flowers from the forest every day. Grandmother would praise me each time I brought her flowers. And each time, I deluded myself into thinking I wasn't a bad kid. Then, one day, my friend said to me, "Whoa, lay off, dude. You're just jealous." Yeah, like what? Because my friend had a weak constitution, he was barred from strenuous physical activity. Thus, grandmother had asked me to watch over him and make sure he didn't run himself ragged. As I protested, my friend grew red in the face and began to shout at me. He's jelly. Whoa! Kid, are you old enough to be using these words? That's a bit much. Stop it. Dang. Stop it, stop it, stop it. As he spoke, he pointed at me. He was right, of course. I knew I was a bad child deep down. Just then, he doubled over, clutching at his chest. All of the color drained from his face, and he grimaced in pain. Grandmother dashed over to him in a hurry, and in the process she dropped the flowers I had given her. As he writhed in pain, she held him close and spoke in a shaky voice. Wow, we thought the grandma was gonna die, but I think the boy's gonna die. That was the moment I understood. I could act like an angel and give her flowers all I wanted, but I would never be her real grandson. Dark. The sun rose on the horizon. Meanwhile, Red was sound asleep on the sofa. He must have been exhausted after everything that happened yesterday. I stroked his head through the fabric of his riding hood. Truth be told, I was tempted to take his hood off, but I knew better. After all, that Red Riding Hood meant the world to him. No one but him had the right to remove it. I leaned in and whispered in his ear. "I'm going to fix you, Red." "What? Fix you? Whoa. What? What does that mean?" 2 hours later. "Oh, good morning, Red." Did my game freeze? Oh, I was... seemed like it was frozen for a second there. I was in the middle of making breakfast when Red sat up on the sofa. Oh, I think it's just my controller died. Okay, I'll use the cursor. He froze in place for a moment. Maybe he wasn't entirely awake yet. "Red?" I raised my voice a little louder. He looked at me sleepily, definitely not quite awake yet. "What about him?" Red seized me by the shoulders.
何もなかったか怪我は
No.
起きてるならなんで起こさなかったあなたは狼に狙われているんですよ何かあった
Every
時は遅いです
precaution. Oh, I'm sorry. At least he didn't scream at me this time. Phew.
うわーすみません
Oh, no, it's fine. Spoke too soon. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. It's just, you looked so peaceful and I couldn't bear to ruin it.
気を使わないでくださいあなたがどうにかなった方が心配だ
I'm sorry. I'll be sure to wake you next time.
約束ですよ
I promise. Normally, I would have liked to do a pinky swear, but given his condition, I was better off not pushing my luck. Oh, that reminds me. Breakfast is ready.
あそこか
As soon as he saw what was waiting for him on the table, his eyes grew round as saucers. It's a skillet cake. After you mentioned baking cakes yesterday, I felt like making one myself. I was hoping to make it a little fancier than this, but I didn't have enough time or ingredients on hand. Sorry. The cake itself was baked in a skillet using soft wheat flour and baking soda. Then I added whipped cream, jam, and mint leaves as garnish. That sounds pretty nice. All told, it was still a rather plain cake, but at least this way it resembled something along the lines of a chiffon cake.
いえ十分豪華ですおばあさんの作るケーキこんなおしゃれじゃなくても
Oh, really? I should have asked for more details. Can you tell me more about them?
作っていただけるのですか
Yeah! No promises, of course, but I'll give it my best shot. I am pretty handy in the kitchen, after all.
知っています
Ah. This time it was my turn to look at him in surprise. Usually he'd always see my cooking in complete silence, so his opinion of my skill had been a total mystery until now.
食べてもいいですか
Oh, yes, of course. He sliced off a forkful, then shoved it into his mouth. How is it?
美味しい
Aw. Really? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Go ahead and have as much as you like, okay? I can make as many of these as you want. Oh, and also, do you have any other requests or favorite dishes? Just say the word and I'll do my best to make you as much as you want. I got so excited I started babbling at 1,000 miles a minute and kept repeating as much as you want for some reason. What? In contrast to my giddiness, Red looked somewhat conflicted. I don't know if I would eat cake for breakfast normally. Like, usually I don't like to start off with something really sweet. Maybe mid-morning snack. Afternoon tea for sure. I tilted my head at him, encouraging him to speak his mind. And he really needs the D. Yeah, she's lonely, okay? It has been a week now since I received the first blackmail letter and 5 days since Red's arrival at my house. Once again, I was headed off to school. Didn't Red say basically there was a time limit on how long he was going to stay there? Like a week or something? I thought it was like after so long, if nothing happens, I'm going to leave. But I guess things have happened, so maybe he won't leave. Now that there is a threat, an imminent threat. I wasn't going to let anything stop me, not even the big bad wolf and his mean, scary blackmail.
本当に行くんですか
Wolf. Wolf better be at school. Want to see Wolf.
休んだ方がよろしかったのか
Lest you forget.
狼に狙われているんですよあ
I thought he said he would kill someone she loves. Not
どうにか
her.
なった後では遅い
Oh no, kill someone she loves and then kill her by drowning her. Red has been bickering with me about this all morning. It's strange. He never would have acted like this just a few short days ago. Maybe this was to be expected. After all, I was being pursued by a scary, vicious wolf. What's the problem? You'll protect me, won't you?
当然ですあなたがどこにいようと私が駆けつけてあなたを悪漢から守ります
Sounds like I can really count on you.
察官ですか？
Right.
あの、
Hmm. Hey,
あ、
we. I guess you're both saying that. We both started talking at the same time, then both hesitated in unison as well. Awkward. You first.
いえ、そちらこそどうぞ。
What? Neither of us willing to go first, an awkward silence descended between us. We were getting nowhere fast, so eventually I caved. What do you plan to do after the case is
どう
closed?
するつもりって。
When I asked you last time, you said you'd leave as soon as the wolf is apprehended, right? Oh no.
それは当然です。
Oh, maybe he's regretting that now. I see. Silence descended between us once more. I decided to give him a little nudge to help get the ball rolling. What were you gonna say?
あ、はい。私、
He faltered. The light seemed to leave his eyes.
やっぱり何でもありません。
Okay. Oh!
何ですか？狼ですか？
No, I just realized we were already almost at the school.
はい。
Well, anyway, I'll be going now. I gracefully spun on my heel and turned toward the school building.
はい。お気をつけて。
I quickly found, however, that I was unable to move. Huh? Why, you ask? Because Red had grabbed me by the arm and was refusing to let me go. Oh my goodness. Dude. You're the one who did that. Don't scream because you touched somebody on purpose. All at once he leapt away, his face flushed scarlet.
すみません。
An impulse. Oh goodness. No, it's fine. Evidently he wasn't quite sure why he grabbed me. He shrank down into a ball as he mumbled to himself. Much as I wanted to stay and relish the moment, I had classes to attend. I crouched down and looked into his eyes. Okay, I really gotta go now.
はい。
He jumped to attention and saw me off with a dutiful salute. Hehehehe.
気持ち悪いな。
That's pretty good. Barf. I love it. What's wrong? Feeling sick or something?
そうだな。お前の気持ち悪くてね。
Sick of your face. what a diss. Sick burn on this one. Rude. If you keep bullying me, I'm not gonna make your lunch anymore.
いらないって言ってるのに、毎回作ってよこしてるのはお前の方だろうな。
Yeah, you don't eat it. Don't eat it then. Oh, right.
随分とご機嫌なようだな。奴とは仲良くやってるみたいだ
Can't
な。
get over that. Hehehe. That obnoxious, huh? Anyway, yes, things are going well. Better than they were before, at any rate. It's been a busy week, to say the least. I slumped my shoulders.
そんな顔して。疲れたか？
His expression didn't shift a fraction, but his tone took on a hint of amusement. Exhausted, actually. Did you see the damage? Flowerbread's trampled house ransacked, and a broken window. That's crossing a line.
俺に言ってもしょうがないだろ。
He didn't even call to check up on her. Don't give me sass, Huntsman. I mean, yeah, but... Is Wolf out sick again today?
そうだな。今日は見舞いに来た。
Damn. Yeah, we better go see him. Yep, I even baked a cake. I held up my wicker basket containing small get-well gifts. Uh-oh, this sounds like when Red Riding Hood goes to the grandmother's house and gets eaten by the wolf. To me, she has a wicker basket then too. Cool. Ugh, you don't even care at all, do you?
どう返せって言うんだ？
The If Wolf were here, he'd say, "Whoa, are you for reals? That's so awesome! I knew I could count on you, Stunner!" Or something along those lines. Sadly, my imitation of Wolf, which I'll have you know is extremely accurate, didn't win me any points with Mr. Huntsman. Ugh, don't give me that look. It's like talking to a brick wall. This is why you can never keep a girlfriend, you know. Oh. It's not me, it's them. Sure, buddy. Don't blame me when you end up alone at age 40. With that comeback, Mr. Humpson pulled out a lollipop out of his jacket pocket and started to unwrap it. Thank you. Aw, come on, let's keep chatting a little more. But we're on lunch break. He frowned at me, the lollipop stick poking out from between his lips. Ohanashi shimashou yo. Let's talk. I still don't get this, but okay, sure. Mr. Huntsman, am I a bad person? What? I don't know why she bothers trying to be friendly with him anyway. No crime goes unpunished. Which means that I might get my just desserts here soon. Mr. Huntsman listened to me intently. Yes. Wait, what? Did we show him the blackmail letter? I don't remember that. I guess the first one? Are you worried? That's so sweet. Wonder what Red's up to right now. Yeah, to keep me safe. I know, messed up, isn't it? As I spoke, I wandered to the window. Yeah, no one really is that worried about her being threatened. Like, her life is now threatened. Someone close to her is gonna die, according to that threatening letter. But nobody really cares. Outside, Red was patrolling around the school gates, looking anxious. Think he'll come over here? There's still so much I don't know about him. I mean, that is true. I mean, when you have these games that like people are like all of a sudden in love after a couple days, it's always kind of unbelievable. So, good words of wisdom, Huntsman, for once. Ugh. No, I haven't. I don't know how to make that noise. Honestly, I could live with that. I don't care if the one I love rejects me, as long as it means he'll be happy. Isn't that your job? Or is that hunter license just for show? We don't know anything about his hunter license, do we? I smirked at him. Then, as my gaze casually drifted to the window, I spotted Red glancing around nervously as he headed into the school building. Oh! He's coming this way! I gotta go. Yes? All men are wolves. Oh, is it Hunter just a teacher? I maybe forgot. Thinking of like the Hunter exam and Hunter x Hunter or something. Red! What are you doing here? Pressed his index finger to his lips. Then he gestured for us to move toward the bushes, so I obliged. No, really, what's going on? I mean, yeah, he doesn't go to school here, so Ha ha ha. I wanted to disagree, but instead I laughed vaguely.
とりあえず無事でよかった。
Mm-hmm. Of course I'm safe here. I've got my very own support network. My asshole brother.
ご友人がいるんでした。
Yeah, he's part of it, but he's been out sync since yesterday. Yeah, didn't I tell you? He caught a cold. Pretty sure we did tell him. The look on his face suggested he had only just remembered. But that's no big deal. Not like anything's happened, you know? I gave a cute little shrug. This time he looked at me like I'd grown a second head. I haven't seen that one in a while. Plus, it's not like I don't have other friends. Except for all we've seen is her talking to her brother, her jerk of a brother, when Wolf isn't there.
あなたが無事でよかった。
Yeah, he thinks Wolf is sus. That's what he's thinking. He heaved a sigh of relief. On further inspection, he looked quite a bit pale for some reason. Is something wrong?
いえ。
Are you feeling sick? Is your fever flaring up again?
いえ、違います。あまりここにはいたくないというか。
After a moment of contemplation, I clapped my hands together. Alright then, let's skip school! Okay. I wanted to go visit my friend anyway, so this works out perfectly.
何を突然。
Ignoring his palpable hesitation, I took a few steps forward, then spun on my heel. We're going on a date, Red!
デート。
A date to my friend's house. Oh my god, he's so awkward. Hello, Earth the Red. I wave my hand in front of his face.
すみません。ついぼーっとして。
It's fine.
いいんですか。サボったりなんかして。
Yeah, I don't care. Truth be told, I'm no angel. Ooh. Normally, I'd like to take you someplace fancy like a movie theater, but that'll have to wait for another time. And so we found ourselves at the lake shore. During weekdays, the entire forest area was deserted, enabling a relative level of privacy. Personally, I was in the mood to break out our lunchboxes and have a picnic. So I stabbed my fork into one of the bacon-wrapped asparagus spears and offered it to Red. Fancy. Say, ah.
できるわけないでしょ。
Blushing, he quickly leaned back. Darn. Oh well, I tried. I promptly gave up and put the fork in my own mouth instead. Let's not have a repeat of last time we were at the lake and he pulled you into the water. What was that?
なんでもないです。
His pouty face was so unbearably adorable, I couldn't help but swoon a little. Oh yeah, and I've got some leftover cake from breakfast, so let me know if you'd like some.
はい。
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The word cake reminded me of something else. Could you tell me more about your friend's grandma's cake? Did she give you a recipe?
レシピまでは。ただ。
Purple in color. Interesting
中に
cake.
ブドウみたいなものが入っていました。
A grape cake with grape juice. I remember she gave you grape juice too.
ほんのりと甘かったです。渋みはそれほどなくて。形や食感は
Grape cake. I don't know. Sounds like my recipe isn't too far off then. Just chuck some grapes in it. I just need to change up the ingredients. What will you add to make the cake purple? Red cabbage, blueberries, eggplant. Well, I don't want to upset him, so I think we should probably add blueberries to the cake. It would be funny to see what his responses were to any of these. Blueberries. What we use for the grape-like things. This is stressful. Actual grapes or raisins? Or beans? I feel like actual grapes in a cake would make it soggy, so I'm gonna say raisins. I think I might know what to do. Maybe.
本当ですか？
I can see myself crashing and burning later on and be like, this cake is horrible. Yeah, I'll give it a try sometime. Oh, but then again, you're going to leave right after you catch the wolf, so...
あなたが
Oh, well, if you make me a cake. Huh?
あなたがいいという私
No,
は
he definitely didn't want to visit last time we played. He was like, hell no.
ほらそれに前にあなたが言ったじゃないですか。春の庭が綺麗だ。
It's true. Of course you can visit me, silly. Itsudate daikange. You're always most welcome at my house. So weird. You're always most welcome at my house. Yep. Okay.
ありがとう。
Oops. That. He smiled shyly.
私はいつも
All men just want one thing and it's disgusting. Cake.
何かを返して
Nice one. I love that meme. You're always so kind to me. Wow, Red. You are, silly. You're guarding me right now, aren't you?
それは当然のことです。
Yeah, I mean, he does the bare minimum, honestly. And you took care of me when I was sick, and you made me porridge, and you bought me a flower. If anything, you're the one spoiling me. So if there's ever anything I can do for you, just say the word. He's gonna die. What the? What was rude about that? Does he just have his mind in the gutter 24/7? That's what all men want.
すみません。
He swayed unsteadily, his hand clenched over his nose. Are you okay?
大丈夫です。
Find my foot. You look white as a sheet. In response to this blatant deceit, you clothesline him, tickle him. I kind of get a kick. Last time we karate chopped him, so the thought of like just beating the crap out of him is really amusing. But I think Arisu would probably tickle him. So let's do that. Summoning my resolve, I got to my feet. Red.
はい。
Take this! Once his guard was down, I lunged at him and tickled his sides.
やめてください。
Good, good. That's the reaction I was hoping for. Oh my goodness. In the heat of the moment, I pushed him down. Whoa. With me sitting on top of him and smirking, Red froze stock still like an ice sculpture. So I took that opportunity to shift into a lap pillow position. Once I lifted his head and placed it on my thighs, Red snapped back to reality. I thought she was on top of him. Now I'm confused about this whole situation. That is a lap pillow situation, though. It's the lap pillow trope you didn't know you wanted. I do like how she keeps talking about tropes and things. Gasp. So salacious. Quiet down now. I looked down at him sharply. Oh my goodness. Nose gushing blood, Red opened and shut his mouth repeatedly, but no words came. Meanwhile, his complexion was a kaleidoscope of colors, flushed one minute and pallid the next. If you keep bleeding out this much every day, you're gonna end up anemic. I pulled out a handkerchief and mopped him up. Hee hee. He's gonna pass out. Yes? He called out my name between gasps of breath. As I peered down at him, however, he averted his gaze.
なんでもありません。
You're like a broken record today. I stroked the golden strands of hair peeking out from beneath his hood. Oh, sorry, I wasn't thinking. don't like this, just say the word and we can stop. I mean, he could just sit up. I know what you're thinking. Oh, now you ask? And all I have to say is this. Better late than never. That's not how it works, Arisu. Consent does not work that way. Better late than never. No. He didn't respond. I guess that means he's fine with it? No, we need explicit consent, Arisu. You don't understand how it's meant to go. After an awkward silence, Red seemed to regain his composure. You put everyone on your lap, Arisu? What? Your male friend, quote unquote? No, no, just you, really. Oh, the real me? What do you mean, the real you? He fell silent, grimacing. I stared at him intently. As I recall, the real you is, what is it you said? Stoic, rational, smart, and self-reliant? I recited his professional self-image back to him. Weak-willed and cowardly? Great. Red. I'm the same way, you know. Yeah, the real me is dark and twisted. Maybe it's no wonder the wolf has it out for me. I gave him a pained smile. I don't think she's ever done anything to make us think that she's dark and twisted. Right, thank you. You really are a sweetheart, you know that? He looked to be on the verge of tears, so I gently stroked his head. This time, he didn't make a fuss about it. He just quietly accepted it. Then, after a moment, he whispered, "Oh, he has something to talk to us about. You can't tell me right now?" They fell in love in 3 days, okay? Curse blessing. Things change when you live with someone for 3 days. Okay, maybe it's more like 5 days? Well, okay, once you've got the big bad wolf, I'll be right here to hear you out. Pursed his lips together like he was biting back all the pain in his heart. His golden blonde lashes seemed to be trembling. I don't really know what to think at this point. Like, I kind of thought he orchestrated all of this so he could hang out with her, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Does the solitude bother you? Did you, though? Are you sure you stopped? If you ask me, I bet you never once stopped hating it. Whoa, alright. Sure, maybe you were alone at one point, but then your friend came along, right? And you met his sweet old grandma. You really think you could go back after that? I think deep down you've been conscious of your loneliness this whole time. Alright, curse blessing, you're putting your money on Wolf. Wolfie. Wolfie. Look at us now, Red. I have you, and you have me. And there's more to this story. So much more. I just wish you'd open your eyes and see it. Wait, this, like, yeah, really took a turn that didn't seem entirely organic there. What's the story? More to the story. Well, you know what? It's been about 2 hours since I started, so I think I'm going to stop here. I was actually hoping we could get to Wolf's house, but that's not happening. Maybe that's the culmination? I don't know. So I think I'm going to save here, actually. And we'll continue sometime this week. I'm still going to keep chugging along once a week. We got through a good 2 hours today, and I don't know, maybe we'll beat it next time. I can't believe there's that much more to go. Like, they're starting to get to the, oh, we have feelings for each other phase of things. So, yeah, let's see what happens. He's getting slightly more tolerable. Not much, but slightly. Thanks, Chris Bessing, for sticking around for the whole thing. And yeah, you have a nice rest of your day too. Thank you very much for waking up early on a Sunday to hang out. I really appreciate it. And I shall see you again later this week, hopefully, when I stream again. Take care. Bye, everybody.